Alrighty, folks, we're now 3-0 in our last 3 daily best plays on my premium site. It'll cost you just 6 cents a day to access that package here today. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my free pick video here today for Friday, May 31st, 2024. Happy Friday to you. Weekend's finally here. We're actually on the last day of May already. We're going to be in June here tomorrow. Wow. Time certainly flies. And I'll tell you what, if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video that you're about to watch here that I actually like the best, you're going to want to think about signing up for my daily best play on my premium site. It costs just 6 cents a day for 30 days of service. And with that, we're going to dive right into some free content. Reds, Cubs, 2:20 Eastern first pitch. Chicago is $1.45, totals 8 runs. Javier Assad for Chicago, Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati. And Ashcraft has certainly allowed his fair share of runs this season. The righty's got an ERA of 4.67, whip of 1.44. And even if he does throw well here today, the Reds currently have the worst hitting lineup in the game. These guys average a league worst 6.9 hits a game. They're going to face Javier Assad, who's 4-1 with an ERA in the low 2s. The righty's punched out 54 batters, and he also has a solid 1.16 whip. And even though the Cubs have certainly had their issues at the plate, they do find ways to get on base. They're actually in the top 5 in the league in walks per 9 at home. Nico Horner leads the lineup in hits. Chris Morel's got the most home runs and RBI. 3 out of the Cubs' last 4 at Wrigley stayed under the total. Meanwhile, Cincinnati went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Give me the Cubs minus 145, under 8. Next game, Cards, Phillies, 6:40 p.m. East. Philadelphia is minus $1.90, totals 8 runs. Aaron Nola for Philadelphia, Miles Michaelis for St. Louis. And I'll tell you what, Michaelis has not been great. He's 3-5 with an ERA of 5.64. And as a team, the Cards have a losing record on the road, and they rank in the bottom 5 in road scoring. And they're facing a Philly team on the other side who's got Aaron Nola on the mound, 6-2 record, ERA in the low 3s. The veteran righty also has a stingy 1.06 whip. And out of all the teams in the major leagues, the Phils are averaging the most runs per game at home. Alec Boehm's got 47 RBI on the year, 4th best in the bigs in that category. Then Mundo Sosa's hitting 306 with an OPS in the 900s. Once again, I realize that's not a household name, but Sosa has been the replacement for Trey Turner and certainly has done a fantastic job. Now, injury-wise, once again, Turner still out for Philadelphia. Nootbaar questionable for St. Louis. 3 out of Michaelis' last 4 starts did get over the total. Meanwhile, Philadelphia's 14-8 to the over against National League opponents at Citizens Bank Park. Give me the Phillies minus 1.5, over 8. Next game, Rays, 7:05 Eastern start time. Baltimore's minus 145. Total is 8.5 runs. Albert Suarez for Baltimore. Aaron Savali for Tampa Bay. And I'll tell you what, Savali's struggled a bit this year. He's 2-4 with an ERA in the high 5s. The Rays are also 1 game below 500 right now, and they are a bottom 5 run scoring team. And they're going to face Albert Suarez, who's got an ERA of 1.53, a sub-1 whip as well. And of course, at the dish, the O's are a top 3 run producing team. Gunnar Henderson's tied for the league lead in home runs, 7th in OPS and RBI respectively. Of course, Adley Rutschman leads the lineup in hits. Now, injury-wise, Jordan Westberg's questionable with a hand injury. Definitely want to keep an eye on him. Of course, Josh Lowe inactive on the other side for Tampa Bay. Now, Baltimore saw their last 3 straight at Camden Yards all get over the total. They're also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 ball games at any location. Give me the O's minus 145, over 8.5. Next game, Pirates, Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Toronto's minus 170, totals 8.5. Jose Barrios for Toronto, Bailey Falter for Pittsburgh. And I'll tell you what, the lefty Falter's done a nice job on the mound for Pittsburgh. He's recorded only 2 losses through 58-plus innings. He also has an ERA in the 3s and a sub-1 whip. And as bad as Pittsburgh's been at the dish most times, well, they do still get base runners. They're walking more times a game on the road than any other lineup in the league. And they're going to face a Toronto team who's certainly had their issues at the plate themselves. The Blue Jays play just .500 baseball at home. They're also in the bottom 5 in the American League in hits per game in the box. Dalton Varsho bats just .205. George Springer with an OPS barely in the 600s. Now, 4 out of Toronto's last 6 interleague home games fell under the total. They also went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 meetings with Pittsburgh. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Give me the Pirates plus 1.5, under 8.5. Next game, D-backs Mets, 7:10 Eastern start time. The Mets are minus $1.20 at home, total 7.5. Luis Severino on the bump for New York. Jordan Montgomery for Arizona. Now Montgomery's 3-2 on the year, despite a couple of shaky outings. And even if he struggles again here today, he's probably going to get some run support. The D-backs are a top 10 run producing team. And they're facing a Mets club who's had a tough time hitting for Severino. Out of 58-plus innings of work this year, the righties recorded only 2 wins. And a lot of that has to do with these sloppy plate appearances. The Mets are averaging a league-worst 6.6 hits a game on their own field. Brandon Nimmo hits just .209. Jeff McNeil has an OPS of .618. Now, injury-wise, Pete Alonso is questionable for the Mets. Perdomo and Thomas still out for Arizona. 4 out of the D-backs' last 6 road games did get over the total. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Now, the Mets on the other side went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Diamondbacks plus $1, under 7.5. Next game, Tigers, Red Sox, 7:10 Eastern start time. Boston's $1.65, totals 8.5. Tanner Houck for Boston, Kenta Maeda for Detroit. And even though Maeda's had some rocky outings, he's recorded only 1 loss this year. He's actually 2-1 coming into today's start. When it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Tigers are now 16-11 against the number in their road games. And they're facing a Boston club who's been horrible cashing in on the run line themselves. Out of 27 ball games at Fenway Park this season, the Bo Sox failed to cover the run line in all of those contests except for 6. And a lot of that is due to strikeouts at the plate. The Red Sox strike out more times a game at home than any other team in the AL East. Rafaela's got an OPS in the 500s. Duran's got the most strikeouts. And because of all that, starting pitcher Tanner Houck comes into today's game with a losing 4-5 record. Now, injury-wise, Tyler O'Neill's out for Boston. Kerry Carpenter inactive for Detroit. When it comes to the total, the Red Sox last 4 straight at Fenway all stayed under the number. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Tigers plus 1.5, under 8.5. Next game, Rangers, Marlins, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. Texas is $1.20, totals 8. Jose Urena for the Rangers, Sixto Sanchez for Miami. And Sixto's 0-3 on the season with an ERA in the 6s. And this Marlins pitching staff as a whole, well, they've really blown chunks at home. They're allowing more runs per contest in their own building than any other staff in the league. They're facing a Ranger club who loves hitting the baseball on the road. Texas is a top 10 run producing lineup away from Arlington. Marcus Semien leads the lineup in hits. Adolis Garcia's got the most RBI. And as bad as Jose Urena's recently, as bad as his record looks, he comes into today's contest with a respectable 3.53 ERA. Now, injury-wise, Evan Carter still out for Texas. Garcia inactive for Miami. The Marlins are 21-8 to the over as the home team. They also saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with the Rangers get over the line. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Give me the Rangers minus $1.20, over 8. Next matchup, Nats Guardians 710 East. Cleveland's 225, totals 8. Tanner Bybee for Cleveland, Patrick Corbin for Washington. And I just don't think Corbin gets his second win of the year in this spot here. He's got an ERA in the 6s along with a 1.69 whip. And even if he does end up throwing well, he's probably not going to get much run support. The Nats are a bottom 5 hit producing club on the road in the National League. And they're going to face Tanner Bybee, who continues to give the Guardians chances to win. The righty's got just 1 loss through 58 plus. He's also got 62 strikeouts and an ERA in the 3s. Bybee's also backed by the best run-producing lineup in the American League. These guys average more runs per game than any other clubhouse in the American League. Jose Ramirez has 16 homers and leads the entire major leagues in RBI with 56. David Fry hits .353 with an OPS of 1093. And out of 24 contests at Progressive Field, the Guardians have a win percentage of .750. Now, injury-wise, Stephen Kwan's still out for the Guardians. When it comes to the total, 3 out of Cleveland's last 4 home games did fall under the number. They're also 6-3 to the under against National League opponents. Give me the Guardians minus 1.5, under 8. Next game, A's Braves, 7:20 Eastern first pitch. Atlanta's minus 225, totals 8 runs. Ronaldo Lopez for Atlanta, J.P. Sears for Oakland. And as solid as Sears has been, well, the A's just don't want to hit on the road. These guys average a league worst 6.6 hits a game on the road. Seth Brown has an OPS in the 500s on the road. Just kidding. Yeah, he has an OPS in the 500s anywhere, everywhere. Brent Rooker got the most strikeouts anywhere, everywhere. They're taking on Ronaldo Lopez, who's been unhittable anywhere, everywhere in most of his starts. The righty's gotten an ERA of 1.75 along with a 1.09 whip. Of course, at the plate, the Braves are a top 5 hit producing team at home. Now, total-wise, the Braves are a staggering, an incredible 15-1 to the under in their interleague contests. Once again, 15-1 to the under against American League opponents. Meanwhile, Oakland's gone 60% to the under against National League opponents themselves. Give me the Braves minus 1.5, under 8.5 runs in that tight window. All right, next game, White Sox Brewers, 8:10 Eastern start time. Milwaukee's $1.70, totals 8 runs. Tobias Myers for the Brewers, Eric Fetty for Chicago. And even though Fetty's been the lone bright spot for Chicago, I think the Brewers are going to be a little bit too much for them. They're winning 60% of their games at home. And they're a top 5 run-scoring lineup. William Contreras is hitting .317. He has the 5th most RBI in the majors. Meanwhile, Christian Yelich, he has an OPS in the 900s. And they're facing a Chicago club who's the worst run-producing franchise in the major leagues. Now, injury-wise, Jimenez and Robert are both still out for the White Sox. Meanwhile, for Milwaukee, Rhys Hoskins still in the IL for them. 6 out of Milwaukee's last 10 ball games did stay under the total. Meanwhile, Chicago's 8-6 to the under in their interleague games. Give me the Brewers minus 155, under 8. Next game, Twins, Astros, 8:10 Eastern start time. Houston's minus $1.15, totals 8.5. Ronel Blanco for the Astros, Pablo Lopez for Minnesota. Now, Pobbs is just 4-5 with an ERA in the 5s. And I'll tell you what, for the most part, the Twins typically can't hit for shit. They're in the bottom 10 in the league in hits per contest. And they have to face Mr. No-Hit himself, Ronel Blanco, Mr. Sticky fingers, a little substance on the, maybe forearm, hat, glove. But regardless, I don't care if you're cheating. I'm backing you. The righty's 5-0 with an ERA in the ones. And even if Blanco has a rough go things here today, doesn't have enough Crisco on his chest, he is backed by the best hit-producing lineup in the game right now. Houston leads the majors in hits per contest. They also strike out the fewest at the plate. Mauricio Dubon's batting .316, Javier Pena .302. When it comes to the injury list, Royce Lewis still out for the Twins. Now, total-wise, 6 out of Minnesota's last 10 gatherings with Houston did get over the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. Now, 5 out of Lopez's last 7 starts also got over the line. Give me Houston minus $1.15, over 8.5. Next game, Padres Royals, 8:10 Eastern start time. San Diego's minus $1.25, totals 8 runs. Dylan Cease for the Pods, Michael Wacha for Kansas City. And even though Wacha hasn't really been crisp, the Royals did get the W in 3 out of his last 4 starts. The Royals also have the best home record in the American League, doing a great job at Kauffman Stadium. And they're facing a San Diego squad who's struggled through a handful of interleague contests this year. And at the plate, Ha-Sung Kim, he's batting just .214, OPS in the 600s. Of course, Fernando Tatis, he has the most strikeouts in the lineup. Now, injury-wise, Bogart's still out for San Diego, Massey inactive for Kansas City. The total went over in KC's last 3 straight at Kauffman Stadium. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me Kansas City plus 105, over 8. Next ballgame, Rockies Dodgers, 10:10 Eastern first pitch. LA's the $3 favorite, totals 8.5. Walker Buehler for Los Angeles, Dakota Hudson for Colorado. Now the veteran Hudson's having a rough go of things in Rocky Purple. He's 1-7 with a .554 ERA. And even if he does throw well here today, I can't imagine he's going to get much run support. The Rockies are a bottom 5 run-producing team on the road in the National League. And they're facing a Dodger club who can certainly hit with the best of them. These guys average more hits a game than any other lineup in the National League. Mookie Betts hits .332 at the plate, 6th highest OPS in the bigs. And Shohei Ohtani's in the top 3 in both batting average and OPS himself. Now, injury-wise, Muncy's still out for the Dodgers. Jones and Beck inactive for Colorado. When it comes to the total, LA went 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Dodgers minus 1.5, under 8.5. Next game, Angels Mariners, 10:10 Eastern start time. Seattle's minus $1.75, total 7 runs. Brian Wu for the M's, Jose Soriano for Los Angeles. And I'll tell you what, the Angels just continue to show no love for Soriano. He's got a 2-5 record despite some incredible numbers. And of course, at the plate, they got a handful of guys who just don't get the job done. Mickey Moniak hits just $1.75. Adele with an on-base percentage of just .267. They got to take on Brian Wu, who, looked solid in a couple of appearances. He's 2-0 already with a 1.66 ERA and a .60 whip. As a team, the Mariners are 9-4 in their divisional games. Now, injury-wise, Raley's questionable for the M's. Drury's still out for the Angels. When it comes to the total, Seattle's last 4 straight at home stayed under the number. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Mariners minus 1.5, under 7.5 runs. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. Going to be in that Yankees-Giants game, 10:15 Eastern start time. The Yankees are minus 135 on the road, totals 8 runs. Marcus Stroman for New York, Jordan Hicks for San Francisco. And despite how good Hicks has been, the Giants lost 4 out of their last 6 against the American League. And in their last 10 head-to-head gatherings with New York, they really struggled getting across the bases. San Francisco was held to just 2.7 runs a game on average during that time frame. Jorge Soler's hitting just .201, Wilmer Flores with an OPS in the 500s. And they're going to take on Marcus Stroman, who's looked good through 62 innings. The righty's 4-2 with an ERA of .276. And these Yankee pitchers continue to be the toughest to hit in the game. They're allowing fewer runs per nine than any other staff in baseball. Now, total-wise, the Yankees went 4-2 to the under in their last 6 on the road. Meanwhile, San Francisco saw 3 out of their last 4 in their own ballpark stay under the total. Give me the Yankees minus 135, under 8. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap. Give me the Cubs minus 145, under 8. Phillies minus 1.5, over 8 runs. I'm 3-0. My last 3 daily best plays on my premium page. It's just 6 cents a day if you join here today. Baltimore minus 145, over 8.5. Pittsburgh plus 1.5, under 8.5. Arizona plus $1, under 7.5. Detroit plus 1.5, under 8.5. Rangers minus 120, over 8. Guardians minus 1.5, under 8 runs. Braves minus 1.5, under 8.5. Brewers minus 155, under 8. Astros minus $1.15, over 8.5. Royals plus 105, over 8. Dodgers minus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Mariners minus 1.5, under 7.5. And give me the Yankees minus 135, under 8. With that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman Package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Well, that's it, folks. Happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.